Hi, my name is Anissa Yulia. I'm co-author of this paper, and this paper title is Analysis of the Selling Value of Tax Objects on Land and Building Tax Revenues in Bogor Regency. Case study in Cibinong District. I wrote this paper with my colleague, Mr. Yunus Arifin and Mrs. Nia Sonani. We are from Nusa Bangsa University Bogor, and this is what my research has been looking at. So let's get started. In the current COVID-19 pandemic, the country's economy has been experiencing a significant decline in economic growth, leading to an economic crisis. Government performed several ways of effort to immediately increase this economic growth. One of the ways performed is by increasing state revenue, and one of the state revenue comes from tax. Undoubtedly, tax is one of the most influential factors in increasing state income at this time. During the COVID-19 pandemic, increasing domestic tax revenue through the mobilization of tax revenue faces challenges for able to restore the state budget, or we call it APBN, and fiscal sustainability through gradually reducing the budget deficit. On the other hand, to overcome the impact of a profound decline in economic growth, the state budget, or we call APBN, is expected to be able to play a role in generating a fiscal system for the movement of the course of economic activity in society. Given that the public and private sector that have collapsed due the crisis cannot be expected to play a role in driving the national economy. Land as a special element in the surface of the earth, which in its utilization includes the body of the earth and water and the space above it, which is only required for the purpose that directly related to the use of the land. Land has an essential role for human need, including a place to live, industry, agriculture, trade, and to place make other living. This population growth increases with the growth in demand for land, while the land supply is highly limited, causing an elevation in the tax object sales value, or we call it NGOP, of the price of land above the fairness. To increase that revenue, the government issue a law regulating taxation. Land and building tax, or we call PBB, is a type of tax that can help both central and regional economies. Meanwhile, the reality that occurs in our life is that in current condition, the era is getting more advanced. Therefore, many magnificent buildings are currently built in areas that are considered backward. Many factors significantly influence the increase in NGOP in an area, including usage, access, electricity, pump, telephone, ownership area, distance to crowd, and type of buildings. Based on this idea, it is deemed necessary to know more efficient and effective ways in problem of increasing the PBB revenue. So, research on NGOP increase on PBB revenue is considered necessary because it is to obtain valid information as basis for its determination. And let's move on. The problem in this research is, first, what factor influence land class or land value in determining the NGOP and the land in Cibinong area? Then, second, what factor influence in the building class or building value in determining the NGOP of the building in Cibinong area? And the third, what factor affect the NGOP of land and building in Cibinong area? The purpose of this research is, first, to determine the factors that influence the land class or land value in determining the NGOP of the land in Cibinong area. Then, second, to determine the factors that influence the building class or building value in determining the NGOP of the building in Cibinong area. And the third, to determine the factor that affect the NGOP of the land and building in Cibinong area. This research was designed as a descriptive correlational study. In this study, secondary data were collected, then searched in the field as primary data. Secondary data collected include data relating to the condition of land and building tax. The data was obtained from the Revenue Service of Bogor Regency, the Land of Building Tax Service Office of Cibinong, and the Statistical Office of Bogor Regency. The research location is in Pondok Rajek Village, Cibinong District, Bogor Regency, West Java Province. Secondary data collection was performed at the Land and Building Tax Service Office of Cibinong. To determine a sample of the population of three selected villages in Cibinong District, Bogor Regency, of 11,8069 taxpayers, the author used a formula developed by Frank Lynch, and the sample in this research is 192.81 taxpayers in each village. Data processing method in this research is using chi-square. Chi-square is a statistical technique used to test hypotheses if a population consists of two or more classes, which data is nominal and the sample is large. And then in this research also use correlation coefficient. The correlation coefficient is measured that can explain the size of relationship between two variables. To calculate the magnitude of the relationship, the Pearson product moment correlation formula was used. To determine the factor affecting the value of building, the value of land, and the NGOP of the land and building, multiple regression analysis was used to test the hypothesis. And we go to the result. Based on the result and in result number 1, based on regression, it turned out that the tax object sales value of land per meter cubic is very significantly influenced by the object location and land use, while other factors are not significantly different in affecting the tax object sales value of land per meter cubic. Then, second, based on the regression, it turns out that the tax object sales value of building is very significantly influenced by the building condition, year of construction, building construction, ceiling, floor, and electrical power class, while other factors do not significantly affect the tax object sales value of building. And the third, based on the regression, it turns out that the tax object sales value of land and building is very significantly influenced by the tax object sales value of land area, building area, while other factors are not significantly different in influencing tax object sales value of land and building. And here we come to conclusion for this research. Conclusion of this research is, first, the tax object sales value of land per meter cubic is strongly influenced by the object location and land use. Then second, the tax object sales value of building per meter cubic is strongly influenced by the building conditions, year of construction, building construction, ceiling, floor, and electrical power class. And finally, the third, the tax object sales value of land and building is strongly influenced by the tax object's sales value of land per meter cubic, land area, and building area. That's all my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a nice day.